So I've been on spring break recently and I'm kind of just chilling, just hanging out with my family, eating good food, playing games, and I'm not really like doing anything that like hard and shit. I'm just like chilling, right? And recently I had a lot of more free time to play Osu, and I've been playing Osu like for a few more hours a day. Like I used to only play like 1 to 2 hours a day, but now it's more like 3 to 4 hours a day. So I'm playing a lot more. But when I'm playing in Osu, I'm kind of just bored, I'm just not really like going for anything crazy. I'm not SCing maps. I'm not really just like pushing skill cap. I'm just playing maps. Like I'm just bullshitting. And I'm kind of just realizing that I'm kind of fucking bored of clicking circles. I'm kind of bored of playing Osu. And I know why I'm bored of playing Osu. And I think that this video might help for someone who is also pretty bored of Osu. But it's basically because in spring break, I don't really have like anything crazy going on. Like I don't have to go to work or worry about school and shit. I'm just chilling and I'm just playing OC. Like let me just explain like why OC was even fun in the first place, like when I was playing it. So back when I was in school, like a week ago and shit, like I was on this grind for like 7 weeks. Let me just run down my schedule, like how it used to be. So I used to wake up at around 4:30 a.m. like every fucking day, and then I would go to work at a fast food establishment for 8 hours. And it's a pretty understaffed place, and they would pretty much always keep me over for some like shit that I would need to like help out with, because if I didn't help out, the store was so doomed, and we're already like kind of struggling a bit. I'm not gonna like say the name of the establishment, but like it was pretty like crazy, like what the hell is going on. And it's a pretty exhausting job. Like I need to like down 3 to 4 cups of coffee every day for me to even survive that shit every day. And after all that pain, I would come home and I would play like 2 to 3 hours of OC just straight. Like I'm just sitting my ass down, my feet are fucking aching, and I just sit my ass down, hop on my tablet, hop on my Wu-Tang, and just start playing maps and shit. And I would improve that way, and I just enjoyed playing the game. And I would also just like, I'll just be bullshitting, just playing OC. I'm just chilling, right? Like I'll do that after like I ate when I came back home. And after that, I would maybe go and do some schoolwork, or hit the gym and shit. And then eventually I just go to sleep, right? So that's pretty much my day to day shit. Like the reason why OC was so fun is because I went through that bullshit of the 8 hours of fucking work, and then I gotta go play some OSU and shit, right? It's just so fun, like that relativeness, because going through 8 hours of pure pain and torture of just working at that fast food establishment, in comparison to hopping on your PC, listen to music, which is already an enjoyable thing, and then clicking circles in the game in correspondence with that. I mean, that's just a fucking whole cocktail for dopamine right there, just playing OSU. And it was just so fun in comparison. And now let's just look at like how my life is now, where I'm just kind of chilling. I get to wake up whenever the fuck I want. I can go to sleep whenever I want. I might still keep like a pretty decent sleep schedule where I sleep at like 10 and I wake up at like 7ish, and then I just like wake up and do whatever the fuck. Like I don't have a schedule for what I do. I just hop on and do shit. And I don't really do anything hard. I'm kind of like just chilling. Like I guess the hardest thing I do is like I work out every day and like still go on walks, but those are enjoyable. Like I love doing exercise. Like it's not hard for me to anymore. And I guess another hard thing is like making YouTube videos, which is kind of like hard, but again, I enjoy doing that shit. Eventually I just hop on OSU because I don't really know what the fuck to do, and I'm just bored. And I just want to point out that there's a lack of relativeness and like that gap of like difficulty, where I used to work 8 hours and then I go play OC for like 3 hours. Like there's that huge fucking gap of like difficulty, but now I don't have that gap, and that's probably why like OC is so fucking boring for me recently. And it's not going to stay this way forever, of course. I'm only on spring break for like a week, but in the future, in summer break, that might be a problem where I need to find some shit hard to do. Maybe I'll find another job to like work on while I also make YouTube videos, like just to keep myself busy. But I'm kind of just like wondering, I'm just playing OSU like that, and I'm just like bored right now, and that's kind of my reasoning. Like if I were to give any advice for someone who is also going through a similar situation, or they're kind of just bored of OSU, right before you play OSU, do something fucking hard. Like I don't know, it could be like some David Coggins type beat, or you wake up at like 3 a.m. and go on a 10-mile run, and then you hop on OSU, because going through a 10-mile run at 3 a.m. is extremely fucking exhausting, right? It's not fun to do that shit. And in relativeness, when you hop on OC right afterwards, you're just fucking listening to music and playing a game. It's so fun in comparison. But when you numb yourself all day, where you just like play games all day and you also have OC to play, it's just like, you won't really progress when you're just like fucking around all day like that. I guess like another thing with OC is that like for me to increase my motivation artificially, instead of just me having this natural like dopamine circuit where I kind of just like play Osu, and it lowers my baseline because Osu's fucking fun as shit. Like I talked about dopamine before in like a lot of my videos because I was super into like Andrew Huberman, which is like a podcaster, and I learned a lot of the like neuroscience from him. I don't really watch him that much anymore because I feel like I learned a lot from him already, and like I don't really like to watch YouTube anymore. I kind of just like to sit there in silence. I know that's like really cringe to say, but it's just kind of what I like to do. I just like to leave myself alone to my thoughts and just like think and shit. And I'm kind of just like talking about dopamine in the past videos, and Osu is like something where it actually lowers your dopamine baselines. It's just so fun. And the thing about dopamine is that it's like a thing that's supposed to give you a lot of motivation to do shit. And if you have a low dopamine, you're not gonna have a lot of motivation to do shit. If you have a high dopamine, you're gonna have a lot of motivation. And right now, my dopamine is pretty much low in relativeness compared to back when I was like working 8 hours a day, because I just don't have a lot of motivation to play OC. I'm just like chilling and shit. You know, that's kind of like, I guess, from a neurological perspective on what's going on with that. And speaking of dopamine, I could increase my dopamine artificially by like taking a lot of caffeine while I play OSU. So we know that in OSU, if you take caffeine, it increases your speed skills a lot, because what caffeine does is that caffeine has a dopaminergic effect where it increases your motivation to do shit, basically. And the caffeine, I guess it could help with like your high twitch muscle fibers and shit, so you can tap faster. I don't really know, that's probably cap, but I know that caffeine does have a dopaminergic effect, and that basically means you have a lot more motivation to play OSU and FC maps. But the thing is that I don't really want to use caffeine while I play OSU, because I'm kind of like thinking, why the fuck would I take caffeine just for click some circles? Like, I just think it's so pointless, right? Like, if I hop on OSU, it's gonna be for fun, and that's kind of something that I learned a really long time ago, where if I play OSU, I gotta do it for fun, and instead of like treating it as something super competitive, like, it's just more sustainable just to treat it for fun instead. And if you take caffeine, you can artificially like increase your competition and drive to play the game, and probably help you FC a lot more maps. But I also don't really have a lot of caffeine at home right now. Like, I guess what the caffeine I have is like tea or yerba mate. Like, it's not a lot of like fast, like blood absorbing caffeine methods, because tea and yerba mate are caffeine methods that I guess slowly absorbed by your bloodstream, while coffee and like actually taking the pills are like they go straight into it. Like, it's basically more readily absorbed instead of like tea. So like that's probably like why coffee hits you super jittery and shit, while tea, it doesn't necessarily give you jittery, but it gives you energy, like, because it's like it's more like slowly absorbed by the bloodstream. But I could do that, of course, caffeine, but again, I just don't really see the point in doing it. The thing about like the point of doing shit, that kind of leads me to a point of like, why the fuck do we even play OSU, the click circles? So I know this video is kind of getting a little bit philosophical, and I'm just yapping about shit, but I just want to say that I go on long walks recently, like after I eat, to like help with my digestion and shit, because like I think it helps with me like to like digest my food, and so I can like maintain my weight, because I'm not really trying to lose weight right now in the spring break before I go on a supercut, because I've been grinding so hard that I kind of just want to give myself a little bit of a break before I go back into the war and keep on grinding and shit with my diet. So I'm kind of just like enjoying food again right now, and before I go back to hell and eat a lot of bullshit, like very clean food, like it's not fun. So I'm kind of just chilling. So like I like to go on the long walks for that, right? And when I go on these long walks, I don't really put on any music or anything. I kind of just like talk to myself like a fucking crazy person, and I just like have long philosophical discussions with myself about shit. Like, I don't fucking know. Like, it's really something though with my mental health, where I just talk to myself like that, where I just clear out a bunch of my thoughts. But I'm just like doing that, and I kind of had like the thought of like, what's the fucking point of playing Osu? You know, Osu is a game where you click circles and shit, you know. Like, some people might say that maybe they play Osu because they have a lot of friends that play it, and they're going to compete with them in order to get better and better, and you guys both get better when you play Osu and compete with each other, and there's that competition aspect. Fine, that's a fair enough like reason to play Osu. But what the fuck happens when one of your friends just quits, and you don't really have that person to compete with anymore, right? And you know, you might eventually just stop playing yourself. And that's what happened to one of my brothers, my younger brother. He had a friend where he competed OSU with, and they both like pushed each other to do better and better. But then one of them friends was like, yeah, I'm just gonna stop. And they're kind of just like not really playing the game anymore because none of them really play anymore. And honestly, that's kind of why I started playing Osu too. It's because my fucking brother started playing Osu and I wanted to compete with him. And that what happened when I was like 7, right? And then I quit playing because I thought Osu was too fucking hard for me. And then I went back to playing Osu in like college, where one of my friends was like, "Yo, let's play some Osu." And I was like, "I used to play that." And again, it was that competition aspect. And I kept playing probably because I kept getting more people to compete with, to like get better at the game with. Like, I don't think if I had these people to compete with, I would be playing Osu right now. Like, that could be a pretty valid reason, but you know what the fuck happens when you don't have that friend to play with, and that's not a reason anymore. Like, what the fuck is the point of playing Osu at that point? Well, I guess there's like a neurological aspect of it, where when you hop on Osu and you click on the circles and you listen to music, it kind of gives you like a dopaminergic like effect, where it kind of just like gives you a spike in dopamine, where you're enjoying listening to music and you're playing a game and you're playing to the beat. Maybe you hit something crazy and that gets you very hype and makes you feel good, and your body will want to crave that feeling of feeling good, so you're gonna keep playing Osu in order to get that shit. But if you cut out that physical part of you, where it's just like your neurons firing and that's why you play Osu, and then you think about it from like a philosophical perspective, like something beyond you, like something more spiritual and religious, and you kind of think, why the fuck am I even playing circles? You're clicking circles on a fucking screen with tablets and the routine and shit. Like, what the fuck is the point of this? Like, why are we even doing this? Honestly, I don't even have an answer. It's pretty abstract to like think about. I haven't really thought about it that much. Some people could argue that maybe we're just doing it because we can. You know, that kind of goes to a point where like, what's the meaning of life? Why do we even live? And maybe we should just be grateful for the fact that we're even alive and life even exists, since like the chances of human beings being even a thing is so like cosmically small in comparison to the universe. I mean, there's fucking billions of planets out there, but then our planet Earth like aligned perfectly with temperature and latitude and longitude in comparison to the solar system. We're the perfect distance from the sun, and we have life and organisms on Earth. And maybe we should just be grateful for that. And the point of it is that we should take advantage of this miracle that happened on Earth and just live our life like that. And maybe that's why we even play Osu, because we can. And the miracle that Osu even is a game that we can play and that we can like enjoy it through our perspective and our lens with our eyes and our hands and our arms and shit. Maybe that's the reason why we keep playing. But I don't know. I don't fucking know, dude. I'm just a dumbass talking to a microphone, but yeah, that's kind of just all I wanted to say. I kind of just wanted to talk about that OC stuff. Like, OC is getting kind of boring. Of course, it's not gonna be boring forever. Like, after this week, when I go back into grind and go to actual hell, once that happens again, OC is gonna be fun as shit, because it's gonna be one of my coping mechanisms to deal with life. But right now, I'm kind of just like chilling, and it's just boring as fuck. I'd rather play Minecraft. All right, but that's pretty much it. See ya.